Commissioner, welcome to the House. And on Europe Day, as we're reflecting on the 50th anniversary of Ireland's membership, when we look to what is valued by citizens in Ireland and why there is that trust of Europe, I think it is that legacy that Europe had in helping create the collective momentum for change in areas like gender equality, workers' rights, LGBT rights and environmental protection. And again, this is something I saw echoed, and I know you were part of this process too, in the Future of Europe process, that it was that collective work for improving and strengthening our rights, our regulations, the standards, to raising the bar collectively, that is what inspires and leads a sense of connection of citizens right across Europe to the EU. And in that sense, the key to our union's survival and indeed to its thriving over the next 50 years is that we continue to work together, not just to focus on the economic growth or the political power that the European Union might offer, but to look to the areas of climate action, social cohesion, quality of life and solidarity within Europe's diversity, and indeed solidarity beyond Europe's borders. You mentioned rightly, I think, some of the mistakes that had been made during austerity. And I think it is vital that we look to those risks, including, I think, the very significant risks that we are facing in areas such as fintech now, and indeed in terms of cryptocurrency. And it's important that the excitement around fintech doesn't lead us to, especially as a country, Ireland, which will be particularly exposed to concerns in relation to the regulation of crypto assets or cryptocurrency, that it's very important that we have a very vital and scrutiny in that regard. But the other mistake that was made during that period of time from 2008 were mistakes in terms of austerity, when Europe seemed to put aside the prioritisation of rights, the prioritisation of that collective ambition and agenda in areas like environment and public investment to focus on short-term fiscal targets. And it's really important that we do, when we introduce a new EU economic governance framework this year, we do not make those same mistakes, and that we have the space for public investment in our collective public good. Commissioner, the climate crisis, is one of the greatest collective challenges that we face. And again, I want to echo the comments made by Senator O'Reilly. I believe an error was made. I think it is regrettable and it was regressive that gas and nuclear were included in the EU taxonomy for sustainable economic activities. And I think it is inaccurate to label such activities as renewable or sustainable. And indeed, it has cost us time that we lost during austerity, that we are now losing again in terms of when we should be prioritising renewables. The volatility of gas, physically, politically and financially, has been very clearly demonstrated in the time since that decision, and I think it is one that needs to be revised so that we can focus where we need to focus, as you described yourself, in terms of the investments, including public investments, that will deliver better for our collective futures. The Corporate Sustainability Due Diligence Directive has the potential to play a transformative role in making sure that the companies within Europe are not violating human rights and the environment through their supply chains across the world. But we have been concerned to hear reports of the consideration of excluding certain financial services from the directive, and indeed Ireland's role in relation to the exclusion of certain financial services. It has to be ambitious. It has to make sure it doesn't exclude sectors due to special pleading, when we know such sectors, and indeed their investments and their practices, are extremely exposed and indeed dangerous in terms of the areas of human rights and environmental harm. I'm also aware that there are negotiations underway in terms of the anti-money laundering directive and legislative package, and I would urge, in line with calls from civil society groups like Oxfam, Transparency International, that there's legislative measures which include strong provisions for stakeholder access in this regard. I will just conclude, Ciarán, with 2 points. The recent establishment of our Seanad Committee on the scrutiny of EU-related statutory instruments is going to be a key opportunity for the Seanad to play a key role in strengthening the scrutiny of EU directives and the decisions that are made and how they're transposed. And lastly, in terms of peace, that is the great prize of the European Union. And it is not, I think, a matter of maturity to say you want to talk about security and defence. Ireland's neutrality has given us a mature voice in respect of peace. And it's very important that we remember that being a beacon for peace and human rights, not a fortress, not a military bloc, not a simple consolidation of power or interests, but a consolidation of values and a champion for peace and rights is what gives Europe its strength. Thank you.
Thank you.